everyone, and welcome back to the Idea Supply Chain. I know I am not Leo, but if you saw the video previously with me, you'll know that Leo has asked me to test out the MyAIcofounder, the chatbot stuff, the thoughts, just basically look around and see what I think of it, see how it feels when I'm using it over the course of a week. So this is going to be day one. This is me starting out from this and just seeing how it feels. I've checked out kind of some of the other stuff as well to see how usable it would be against them. So let's get into it and see what I think. Okay, so first things first is I quite like this layout. Now I know it's a kind of basic layout for a website, but it's very clear. It's colourful, but not too kind of in your face. So just on that, I quite like this. Now, no, this is nothing to do with how we're meant to be doing things, and it doesn't matter. The AI is the important thing. But come on, if you're going to use a website, if you're going to be kind of going to it every day or whatever like that, or you're seeing it for the first time, the aesthetic here is important. Now, having checked out ChatGPT, that's very boring. Now, obviously, yeah, you're only going to the same page every time, which is going to be the same with this one. But the difference is the initial thing. And the initial thing here is this is clean. This is efficient. This looks like somebody's actually taken some time. And it doesn't necessarily with ChatGPT. Now, the comparison beyond that, we don't know. But this is a good first step. The initial kind of drawing you in is always a good sign for people. So I like that. I know it's aesthetics over anything else, but I don't care. And I like the way it's putting these as well. Nobody but you lives in your head. Keep it that way. All thoughts are private by default. Now that's, I think, really important for a lot of people. And the fact that that's actually quite near to the top, I think, is important. Because obviously the big thing for MyAIcofounder is that it's your thoughts. It's kind of keeping your thoughts day by day and kind of building on that and moving on from there. And I know Leo's working on specific subminds that then can kind of lock into that. But for this seems like a really good idea for me. So, okay, so now we're on to the actual kind of AI part, the my thoughts, which again, yes, this is where it starts to look a lot more like ChatGPT and everything else. So what is happening now? The thing I've been kind of thinking about recently and kind of touched on with different things and with one of my own channels is travel. Travel costs around the world are so expensive for a lot of people, and it only seems to be if you're doing it with certain websites or from certain servers that you get anywhere at all. I know I get a lot of my friends in America, obviously where Leo is as well, that really don't get how I get certain stuff so cheap. So my thoughts at the moment, what is happening? I am thinking about ways to improve customer satisfaction and discounted international flights for those outside Europe and UK. Specifically America, and because this is also another country that is incredibly expensive with this stuff, and Australia. So let's just see what we have. So it is very interesting to kind of have that as your main thought. Now, and then if we go on to help, welcome to MyAIcofounder. I'm your dedicated submind. Leo is running with the subminds. Here to help you externalize your thinking, do research, take action, and understand you better. Our goal is to align with your values and help you work at the speed of thought. You can capture your thoughts here, and I'll respond based on your plan. Remember, the less time you spend here, the more time you have for what matters most to you. Now, could you tell me a bit about yourself and your business? So this is an interesting one. So it's kind of, because it's a submind, it wants to know more information. It wants to kind of know who I am. So, I mean, the interesting thing here is, how much do I tell it? Do I tell it where I'm from? That's probably a good idea, because obviously travel is cheaper for me. I want to be thinking about travel in general, so that's going to be something on there. So we'll go with this. I am an Englishman. I am an Englishman, currently situated in the southeast of England, and I am looking to help get lower cost travel for, helps if you can spell, for those in more expensive countries. Expensive airline countries. Let's put that, because the UK is an expensive country, but not for airline flights. Okay, let's see what it gives me from that. And of course, this is going to build, because it's a submind, and it's going to go from there. And this is going to take a bit more time and probably understanding, because it's actually learning from me. It wants to know me better. Okay, that sounds like a noble and challenging endeavor. Okay, lowering the cost of travel can have a significant impact on people's lives, making it more accessible and affordable. I can assist you in various ways to achieve this goal. Firstly, we could conduct market research to understand the current pricing strategies of airlines in more expensive countries. This could involve analysing factors such as fuel costs, taxes, airport charges, and labour costs that contribute to high prices. Secondly, we could explore innovate business models in the airline industry that have successfully reduced costs. For example, the low-cost carrier model has been successful in various parts of the world. Yep, absolutely. Thirdly, we could look into partnerships with travel agencies, hotels. See, in terms of stuff like that, not really something I've thought of. I've not really thought of partnerships. In my mind, because this is what everybody keeps saying to me, is effectively be a travel agent, but find stuff online for people. It never occurred to me to even do partnerships. It's not something I thought of. Lastly, we could also explore technological solutions, such as developing an app. Definitely not something I thought of, because that is not my strong suit. My strong suit is all in the cognitive, and certainly not on this kind of side. A platform that could help consumers. Yep. I'm here to help you with all these tasks. Let's start by defining your business plan and strategy. What are your immediate goals, and how do you envisage achieving them? See, I love this because it's prompting me. There's the immediate thought. I've put my thoughts up here, so my thought is still here. Still got my thought here, okay? So if I... Oh, hello. That's because it's responding to me, of course. But my thought is here. So if I go away, which I'm going to, this is not going to be all in one day, because I'm going to come back and maybe have different ideas tomorrow, because that's the point. It's thought. Your thoughts change constantly. So this is still here. So if I come back and I'm not 100% on what I said exactly, it's here, exactly. So now coming back to the help section here, we have got the thing that was just saying to me, that's no cause, everything else. I'm here to help. And again, the prompts. That's not something you get on like ChatGPT or Copy AI or any of those other ones. It just gives you an answer. A lot of the time it's wrong. I say that because I've tried stuff and it's just given me the wrong answer, because I was testing it out. This is great because it's actually going, okay, so what's your immediate goals? This is how you can do this, but right now, what do you actually want to do? And like, how do you think you're going to do it? It's challenging you, which I suppose is part of the kind of MyAIcofounder. It's a co-founder. It's not just sat by itself doing it. It's coming back and forth with you. So, okay. So let's say, okay, my immediate goals. My immediate goals are to find cheaper flights. And I will do this by searching various websites online. Simple goal, simple achievement, and how I'm going to do it. So let's see what it says. Hopefully it's going to think that's a simple option as well. It's kind of what the plan is to go. Now again, this is a little bit slower than other like chatbots, but this is a specific submind. It's very much made for me. That's who it's for. That's what it's for. Okay. That's a great start. Searching various websites online can indeed help you find cheaper flights. However, it can be a time-consuming process. To make it more efficient, you might want to consider using or developing a flight comparison tool. This tool could aggregate data from various airline and travel websites, allowing you to compare prices and find the cheapest flights more easily. Now, there are sites that do that. I actually find them not as good. So this basically saying, hey, it is kind of making you think, well, why don't you make a better one? That's now what's being thrown back at me in my mind anyway, is kind of going, you know, you're not getting the ones from what you think, so make a better one. So yeah. In addition, you might want to consider setting up price alerts. Now that's a very good idea. These alerts can notify you when the price of a specific flight drops, helping you secure the best deals. Now, as someone that travels a lot myself, this is kind of what I have done with certain sites. I have those alerts, so it'd be like, hey, you can get this amount off of this flight and the hotels there and everything else, but you've got to do it now. So yeah, absolutely. Furthermore, understanding the best times to book flights can also help you find cheaper options. Absolutely. For instance, some studies suggest that flights are generally cheaper if booked on Tuesday or Wednesday. I have said this so much. Or if booked several weeks in advance. Tuesdays, I've said this so many times, and maybe people out there that may know me from somewhere else, or probably mutual friends of mine and Leo's. Tuesdays are 100% the cheapest day to book on. 100%. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, absolutely. Absolutely. Lastly, you might want to consider joining airline loyalty programs. These programs often offer discounts and other benefits to their members. That I 100% disagree with, which is sad, but I know why it's saying that. But that only works if you actively take those flights for business, and you would have to be on those flights anyway. Because you can do those flights for a minimal amount of the cost and end up basically spending so little that the points would never be equivalent. And I've done this. I know plenty of people that spend so much and get the points, but and go around the world 50 times by the time they get enough to go from New York to Santa Monica. It's just not going to be the case. I can assist you in researching these strategies and developing a plan to implement them. Would you like to proceed with that? Again, action, action, action. It's a really good one. It's like the Gantt's public narrative approach to speech patterns, in that you don't just give people the tools. You go, hey, here's the tools, and let's go do it. It's actually giving you that. It's motivating with it. It's not just going, hey, stopping point now. So I'm liking this. I'm going to call it day for today, but I will be back tomorrow or in a couple of days. Actually, I'm going to give it a couple of days and then come back and see if this still feels as good, if this is fresh in my mind, and how it deals with maybe a few curveballs I give it as well. Okay, so we're back. It's been a few days, so I've had a little bit more of a play around. As you can see, we have a few more ideas going on. We've had a little bit more happening, as well as a little bit more of a chat here as well. Started working on the plans going forward, and it is still working on it. So that's the good thing as well. So what I've come across is basically it's set out a plan. In the help in the actual chat with it directly, where it's given me the plan to actually do things, and I've just said, hey, absolutely, can we get the plan going? You know, how quickly? What's the progression on this? It's like, yeah, I can do this simultaneously. However, we want to work specifically on this, and we want to gather data, so it's going to take longer. Now, I appreciate that, because what you find, I think Leo's talked about this in the video, is if I ask ChatGPT or Copy AI or whatever systems out there, what would happen is it would give me an immediate answer. It would be off of a random website with the what ChatGPT 4 that's kind of not necessarily cross-referenced, so it's just here's a bit of information. It could treat proper research the same as it treats anything else, so you end up with kind of false information because it treats it all the same. Whereas this one's like, hey, we're going to work on stuff in the meantime. Any questions you have, please direct them. We can do that. And in the background, I'm going to be making sure to compile the proper planning, get the research, get it all done. It's acting as an actual co-founder. I really appreciate that because, one, I think it's actually a really good way of making it almost not feel like AI, which I know that sounds strange, but I think for a lot of people, and I have friends who are not as on board with the idea of AI and the fact that it does everything immediately, and the idea of it acting like a, hey, I'm going to go away and do this. Feels like an actual person. Feels like it's real, and I appreciate that. But also, I like the fact that it's actually going to do checks, and you could say yes, but it can do all this immediately and blah blah blah. But so many times we've seen the AIs in the market at the moment, as they are, get stuff wrong. The whole point of this system and having it as a submind specifically is that that submind becomes the expert. I think Leo said in a video that it just knows about that thing. Like anyone going to university, you know a lot of stuff about this one thing, you might know nothing about anything else. Cool, that's the person I want, that's what I want. So I like that. Also, on here, the great thing is that it's doing stuff in the background. So if we go down to like some of the stuff I've said in the past, this like button, which I find interesting, is basically saying, hey, yeah, I've seen this. Don't worry, I've seen it. I'm working on it. And then if we click on the message, we can see effectively what the submind is doing. I know this sounds really stupid. I'd like to be able to name my submind. I'd like to be able to be like, this is, you know, I don't know, just something that this is the traveler, or this is, you know, this is happy flying, or whatever it is. Kind of give them the subminds fun little names depending on what they're doing for me. I don't know. I'd like to be able to do that. It's a stupid little feature, but I'd like the ability to do that. I think that'd be fun. So I put in, I'm thinking about ways to improve customer satisfaction and discounted international flights. All of that good stuff. And then I'm researching the current landscapes of airline pricing, and it's doing the work. It's going out and looking for things. And so it's actually helpful. And then if we go into again, then we have a report summary. It's actually done it. So this is the stuff where it said, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to research the current landscape of airline pricing models, and then it replies to itself with this. Hello information. And then I've just followed up with industry state things so that it can then reply and interact with that. But look at this. I actually have a short report. Airline pricing models for international flights for Europe and the UK to America and Australia are significantly impacted by Ukraine-Russia conflict, rising jet fuel prices and alterations in flight routes to avoid Russian airspace. And then the pricing of these flights is influenced by factors like demand and supply, competition, reputational risk, and dynamic pricing. However, in markets like Australia, where competition is less, airlines are less likely to engage in advanced price discrimination and are more likely to base their pricing on simple supply and demand. And so if there's not as many people flying, it's not as bad. So discount programs for international flights from Europe and the UK to America and Australia are limited. However, there are some opportunities, and it goes on like this. This is a proper actual report. And this is so good because it's telling you all this. It tells you, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to work on this. It's a much fuller answer, a much fuller response, and actually it's independent thinking, which is something you don't get on things like ChatGPT. Can I have this? Yeah, okay. It doesn't give you any pushback. It doesn't give you any, okay, would you like me to do this? Which is what does happen in the help section, like I was saying a few days ago, or for you guys, like 5 minutes ago. It gives me that, and that's so helpful. I really appreciate that. My biggest issue here is layout. I know that sounds kind of silly because I mean I like the layout of the website in general, but then when it comes to this bit, this is very limited. Now, I am on the free bit. If we paid to upgrade, maybe we get some different stuff. We probably do. Okay. And that's what you're going to remember. I'm only checking out the free bit because I think that's important. There's no point wanting to commit to pay if you don't see if the free bit's any good. Because if the free bit's good, then you want to go, oh, well, fuck, okay, which is probably what is now going to be the case. But if you don't see it's any good in the first place, like I get really annoyed when you get some things that are like, hey, we're going to do this for free, limited, do fuck all. But for this, we're actually getting something out of it, so which I really appreciate. I apologise for swearing there. I know it's not Leo's usual. But the other thing is, well, in general layout, I know I've seen on one of Leo's videos that these boxes were actually side by side. Now, I don't know if that's something that I can play around with in the settings. I've not really seen it. If that's not the case, I think that's something that could be really good. If we could have it side by side, I think that layout is far better. Because this is not just a review for you guys, this is for Leo to watch as well when I send it to him. So I think that layout would be much better because otherwise it's the constant scrolling up and down to remember whereas it could be that. I also think it'd be helpful, or maybe it's all because they're the same kind of subject, I don't know. But I was going to say I'd also like almost like tab options so that I could have, okay, well this is going to be about travel. This one, I'm thinking of writing a book. This one, I'm thinking of starting a new business, whatever it is, because then you can have kind of separation of ideas. Each of these also works as individual subminds as well, which I think is really good. The one thing I will say as well is, so on this here, I've responded to it there. We have a report again. There's another report. We like the reports. But if we go into it, attention warning, I've acted again, it's responded to me, and you've got to go in and in and in because that's how it's laid out. And then if we go right back, you'll see a lot of these top ones here are actually offshoots from the rest of them. What I'd like is the ability to, at least for me, the ability, not necessarily that it should be that for everyone, because everyone's going to be different on this. I'd like the ability to almost turn it into like a brainstorm so that we can have it come off of each other so I can keep a better track of it. Just to have the option of being able to go, click on something, brainstorm, just so I could see that layout. That'd be really helpful because this, although very organized, it's organized in a very specific way of doing things, which isn't necessarily how I would go about it. So I think if that could be added so that we had a function to organize the thoughts as our thoughts work, because the whole point is it's meant to be a kind of continuation of our thoughts and a back and forth with our thoughts and a co-founder effectively. So it'd be nice if we could create it into the way that we think. So like this option, that brainstorm, that PowerPoint slides, that some kind of thing that allows it. That may be really difficult, I don't know, but I think the ability to do that would be really helpful. In general though, this has been a brilliant little play around I've had this week. I've had reports back from it. I've then had reports on reports from stuff I've done. And all through the week, I've just come in here and gone, hey, rewards for individuals that can beat an AI and travel cost given specifics. It's just a thought I had. So I was like, let's put it down and see what it says, So, for instance, I said that. And this has said, looks like I should take this action. Investigate possible platforms and strategies for creating a competition or reward system where individuals are incentivized to find cheaper flights than AI. This could involve researching online travel platforms, blah, blah, blah. This is actually because I think I could beat AI. It's actually because this is a thought because I think I could do it. So I'd like the idea of it, and I think it would be a fun way of potentially getting people interested in your kind of system, because if an AI or an AI co-founder is helping you, to add that in would be really, really cool as kind of, oh, you get an even cheaper flight, or the flight's free now because you beat our AI or something like that. And then, what is the best approach to global travel without a visa? Or a visa, I've just seen there. Oh, that's irritating for me. But yeah, these things in there are really, really helpful. I like it. It's much more intuitive than I would get with most of the AIs that I've seen. Most of my kind of critiques are basically down to layout. But I also know that there's going to be other people that think, yep, that's exactly how I need it. So that's just a personal thing for me. think it'd be really helpful if I was just given the option. Not that it should be laid out different, but if I had the option to make it work like my thought. So my thought is a lot more jumbled, so Brainstorm works for my kind of thoughts, and so that would be a lot easier to interact with in my way of thinking. But the fact that reports get back to you, the fact that it's actually going through things and properly looking through them is so helpful. It actually really reassures you that you're working with something that is paying attention to you. I think a lot of AI doesn't feel like that, but this does. So there's my 2 cents worth. I hope that helps you looking into this potentially, and also Leo for maybe changing a few things up. Maybe I've helped him there. Maybe I've just made him pull his hair out because he wanted some information on something else. I don't know, but hopefully that's something for you guys to look over. I think absolutely go onto it, have a play around. Like I say, this is free. This is the free section. Play around. I mean, if you can play around with it, why wouldn't you? I think it's a really great thing. Do like I've done. Give it a week to play around with. Still like it at the end of the week, continue. I will be. I want to try and figure out how I can beat AI at travel costs, if nothing else. So I'm definitely going to be doing that, but I think it's pretty a good idea to play around and see. So I hope you've got something out of that. I hope Leo's got something out of that. And this just progresses more and more, because I know some of these ideas are literally like days, weeks, months old. There's nothing that's really that old, so it's a constant changing thing, which is, I think, the way that AI is going in general. So yeah, thanks so much. I don't know if I'll be back testing anything else in the future, but I will hand it back to Leo for the next episode. So thanks everyone for joining me, and I hope you have a good weekend.